Oh, yeah. Hang on a minute. Movie review and stuff, yeah. Ha ha ha. Save Yourselves is brought to us by directors Eleanor Wilson and Alex Houston Fisher, and stars John Reynolds and Sunita Mani as Jack and Sue, a millennial hipster couple that can't seem to pull themselves away from their phones long enough to save their relationship. When they notice that something's not quite right with their relationship, they decide, hey, let's disconnect, throw the phones down, and not have any connection to the outside world, and go on a trip and just reconnect and rekindle that flame that we had originally. Or something like that, I don't know. They go out to the woods with no phones or internet or anything to try and meditate and fuck a lot or something. Once they arrive at their cabin destination, they find themselves having a hard time figuring out what to do without technology. But they are determined, so they soldier on. However, unbeknownst to them, at first, something much bigger is going on in the world. And when a strange poof, as they put it, shows up in their living room one day, they quickly start to realize that the world they've been detached to for the past few days is being invaded by fucking aliens. And now they have to figure out how to survive in a world that they're not prepared for. Save Yourselves plays heavily on the trope that millennials don't know shit. And without their phones, the internet, and the technology around us in the world now, they just have no purpose and don't know what to do. Now I say trope, and some of it is a bit exaggerated here, but really, this movie's not too far off from the truth. As far as the part of how people are more or less addicted to their phones and the internet. Not the alien part, that shit's pretty fucking out there. And it was pretty funny to see these characters just totally out of their element, having zero clue of what to do in the simplest of situations. Now this is not a new thing. We've seen movies do this before. However, this movie does totally commit to it. This isn't something to where our characters learn how to be better people. They learn all these skills overnight that they never had. No, these motherfuckers ain't got that shit, and they don't fucking learn it either. They try to do some of this stuff, but they fail miserably. The simplest thing, like chopping wood, the guy just can't do it. And we do get to see how they kind of have like a breakdown when they realize, without my phone and the internet and all the technology I've grown up with, I just have no purpose. I thought this part of the story was actually pretty poignant, because let's be honest, that's just kind of how it is for a lot of people nowadays. There's a whole bunch of motherfuckers out there that if you took their cell phone from them, their life would pretty much crumble around them. There's even parts in the movie where the characters need to do something and they instinctively reach for their phones so that they can look up a YouTube video as to how to do it. And this is funny, but at the same time, it is very true to life. And it does enforce the idea that, honestly, I do agree with, that the internet, our phones, and being so connected can be a great resource, but it can also be a huge crutch as well. This was something that I thought the movie dealt with very well. Now, as I said, this is not a new theme in movies. We've seen this quite a bit, especially in the past few years. However, Save Yourselves deals with these story beats very well and presents everything in a very humorous and entertaining way. The movie is genuinely funny throughout. Now, while most of the comedy is more of a dry comedy that some people might not be into, there is a decent amount of more physical slapstick comedy here and there as well, especially closer to the last third of the movie. Now, like I mentioned a moment ago, and it's no spoiler, it's in the trailer, this movie does involve aliens and a subsequent alien invasion. However, while it does show up fairly early in the movie, the vast majority of this movie doesn't really deal with that issue. It actually takes quite a while to get into that aspect of the movie. This movie deals much more with the whole millennials not knowing how to do anything part of the story. However, like I said, it deals with that aspect of the story very well, so it is still entertaining. It takes quite a while to get to that meat of the story that you're looking for, or at least what you think you're looking for when you first turn the movie on, but you're never gonna find yourself bored. The movie is entertaining throughout. And while I was waiting for the aliens to finally show up the whole time, when they finally did in the amount of time they're in the movie, I think after watching it all was just right. Now, while I think that this story and the movie overall will be pretty entertaining for a lot of people, there is one part of this movie that I think might turn some off, and that is the ending. That's not bad or anything, and I actually was okay with it, but it does leave quite a bit up in the air, and it is kind of out of nowhere in a way. I'm not gonna spoil it or anything here, but it does just kind of come out of nowhere and leaves you kind of thinking, what the fuck? And not necessarily what the fuck in a bad way, more of just kind of a what the fuck. Me, myself personally, I did actually like the ending. It does leave you with some questions for sure, but I was happy with where it ended up. The movie did actually conclude, more or less, the actual story that it set out to tell in the beginning of the film. And while it doesn't end the way that I initially thought that it would, I will say that the basic idea of what's going on when it ends is more or less in line how I saw that things could go down. Basically, I mean, it is kind of out there what happens, but once again, this is a comedy movie, and if you look at it from that perspective, the ending does fit in line with everything. Now, the vast majority of this movie solely consists of John Reynolds and Sunita Mani's Jack and Sue, and thankfully they are up to the task of carrying this movie. They both do a great job as two millennial hipsters that, while yes, they are a bit pretentious at times, they are still likable. You don't dislike these characters. There's people out in the world that I see that do actually act like this, and I kind of want to fucking strangle them. But not Sue and Jack. No, it's almost kind of endearing as to how clueless they are to some of the simplest things in life. And a lot of that is due to the performances from Reynolds and Manny. Jack and Sue are a very believable couple. You believe that these two characters have a life together. You totally believe that these two are a couple. Reynolds and Manny have fantastic chemistry. The banter between the two throughout the movie is absolutely wonderful. I don't know if it was ad-libbed or written, but either way, however it came about, it is really good and very believable. Now, we do have a few other characters that show up here or there, but nobody really has that much screen time like Reynolds and Manny. This is their show through and through. But when anybody else does show up on screen, they do a great job as well. Overall, the performances in this movie are all really good and very likable. Now, as I said, this movie does concern aliens, and we do get to see those aliens quite a bit in the last third of the movie. And while their design is fairly simple and played to comedic effect, some of the other aspects of these creatures are actually very well done. There's not like a ton of effects in this movie, but there are some, and the ones that we get all do look very good. Overall, the movie just looks really good. From a technical standpoint, all around, it's really solid. Guys, I had a really good time with Save Yourselves. It was very well acted, genuinely funny, and had a really interesting story. Some of the drier comedy and the ending of the movie might turn some off, but as a whole, I think most people will enjoy this ride. But even if you're not a huge fan of that ending, this is a genuinely funny movie with some really likable performances and is absolutely worth a rent.
All he wanted was this.
I have to return some videotape.
I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. I honestly didn't even know that it was coming out, but I'm really happy that I saw it because it was a really good time. It's not gonna be on anybody's top 10 movies of the year list or anything, but it was a really enjoyable time. And if you're looking for a genuinely funny, good time for the night, check out Save Yourselves. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So there it is, guys, my review of Save Yourselves. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Brooklyn.
What is that? Has this been here the whole time?
The poof? I don't know. Probably. Oh my god.
What the?
I do want to say something about the ending real quick that could be considered a small spoiler. Not really, I'm not gonna say what the ending is or anything, but I am going to mention something about it that maybe could possibly be considered a itsy bitsy spoiler. Not really what I have to say, but what it could lead you to think. So if you're just like 100% no spoilers at all, no matter what they are, nothing at all, then turn the video off now, watch the movie, and then come back and see if you agree with what I gotta say here. So there's your warning. I don't want to hear it about, oh, you didn't warn. I'm warning you. What I'm about to say could be considered a very, very, very light spoiler. So I don't really know what they were trying to achieve with the very end of this movie. They're just trying to kind of be ironic and out there, haha funny, then yeah, they probably achieved that. Or were they maybe leaving it open for a sequel? And if so, what would that sequel be? It could turn out to be kind of a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy kind of situation with these two. And if that's the case, it could turn out to be really fucking cool because these two characters traveling across the galaxy, all Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy style, could be funny as shit. Could be. Or it could just end up being fucking grating and annoying to no fucking end. Who knows? But honestly, we'll probably never see a sequel to this movie, so I guess we'll never know.